Welcome back all of our Emperor Club members, and a special warm welcome to all of our new Champagne Club members. It's great to see people signing on to the club every month and taking the journey with us. But it doesn't matter where you start, you've got to take the journey somewhere. And over the last 10 years, I realised last week that we're 10 years this year, we haven't repeated a champagne. And that's phenomenal, but we are getting more and more champagnes coming to Australia, and every now and then you get a new champagne. And I have to say that we've got a new champagne launching in Australia. It's from the Maison R.Pouillon. And we've got a welcome back to Australia for Frerejean Frères Rosé that has been out of stock and has just landed in Australia. So 2 new champagnes for us and 2 new champagnes for the club. This month's theme centres around our favourite experiences when travelling to the Champagne region and on our Champagne tour. It is April. I'm getting ready to head back to Champagne in June to once again take our beautiful insiders tours to Champagne. And these are 2 of our favourite experiences. Visiting the Pouillon family, which is Fabrice, an amazing winemaker, and his beautiful wife, Bénédicte, and also visiting the fabulous brothers of Frerejean Frères. And hence, these are the champagnes we're presenting this month in honour of those visits. R.Pouillon, a new champagne from them, the Grande Vallée, and Frerejean Frères Rosé. So coming out to all of our champagne lovers this month is R.Pouillon Grande Vallée. This is a brand new cuvée from the house, and whenever a new cuvée is released, I'm always intrigued. And when I looked at the back of the label, yes, it talks about the villages of where the grapes are from and what the cepage is. So the composition of grapes means the cepage. So how much Pinot Noir, how much Meunier, how much Chardonnay. I get further down the label and I see Method Fabrice Pouillon. Intriguing. So what is the Method Fabrice Pouillon? The method is quite interesting. So normally when we're producing champagne, we've got Chardonnay, we've got Pinot Noir, we've got Pinot Meunier, cut by hand, pressed for the first time, gently. So we're breaking the skin, extracting the flesh, throwing away the skin that contains colour because we're making a white wine from a red grape. And then we are fermenting that, putting it into the blend, putting in a second dose of yeast and sugar to trigger the second fermentation inside the bottle, and then down to the cellar to undergo its secondary fermentation. Where this wine is different, we are taking Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, Pinot Meunier. We've got 65% Pinot Noir, we've got 20% Meunier, so the balance really is in the Pinot dominant spectrum, 15% Chardonnay. Where we differ here is that we fermented the wines for the first time. They've been fermented in a large foudre, so you're getting that oxidative quality in the wine. It's interchanging with oxygen. It is the style of the house, either a large wooden foudre or a small oak barrel for primary fermentation and aging, blending. And when we put this into the bottle, there is no added yeast and no added sugar. Now, this is unheard of in the secondary fermentation stage for champagne. So what Fabrice is using is an unfermented grape juice that's been added into the champagne to trigger the second fermentation in the bottle, which is wildly unusual and very interesting. And I really do need to get Fabrice's perspective on why he's doing this, and I'll be seeing him this trip in June. I'll be asking him that. So the Grande Vallée is a cuvée. Clearly the cuvée has this most intense copper colour. Now we do have 65% Pinot, 20% Meunier, the balance being Chardonnay, but really quite a rich colour. He presses very gently, Fabrice, and multiple times. The house is located in Marly-sur-Aille, so Premier Cru village. He's got 7 acres spread over about 40 plots, so he really is quite focused in the terroir, in the micro nature of his terroir. He knows his grapes. In this particular blend, we've got multiple parcels. We've got the terroirs of Maru, Métigny, Épinay, Avenay, and Festini. It's a bit of a mouthful champagne, but obviously quite a deep blend of the Pinot Noir and red fruit grapes. We've got the base of 2019, a little bit of 18, and reserves in the wine. Now, we do have, and this is hallmark, I think, in Pouillon wines, this slightly oxidative character, and that is a winemaking attribute. He does prefer to ferment for the first time in foudres and in barrels. So you do have this beautiful, nutty, complex character. But at the same time, you've got citrus notes. And what I always find is that the wines are quite expressive from Pouillon. You get orange, you get blood orange, you get really lifted aromatic floral characters. And when I put it on the palate, it's still very gentle. It's got minimal attack. It's almost like having an orange wine, but without the funkiness and the disjointedness that can sometimes come from an orange wine. It's got plenty of character, it's got plenty of flavour, but most importantly, and almost unmistakable in Pouillon wines, it's got this amazing footprint. So you've got the length of the wine going on and on and on. It's a really fabulous power. He is in a great neighbourhood. He's got Bilcar Salmon on one side and Philippinat on the other. So Marusso I is a fabulous neighbourhood for growing grapes, and he's got some beautiful parcels. His uncle used to have gorgeous Chardonnay from Le Menil, but he really does focus on those Pinot Noir plots. And for all of our connoisseurs this month, a completely different wine stylistically, and not just because we've got a change in colour and category. I think location in terms of where the vineyards are at, philosophy, the winemaking, and the overall picture of the wine is completely different. The Maison Frerejean Frères is a relative newcomer to Champagne. Pouillon's been around since 1947. These guys formally started in 2005. The Frerejean family have lived in Champagne for as long as we know. The Frerejean family making the artillery for the Napoleonic Wars and the Prussian Wars. A very important family in French history. The brothers being involved in Champagne for a very long time, but coming out under the Frerejean name after making Champagne for a couple of years. And of course, you launched in 2005, but think about this, everything the boys do has a really long élevage, a really long aging period. We're really sitting at a minimum of 5 years on a lot of the wines. And if you get up to the VV26 and the Hussards, which are phenomenal, we're talking 8, 10, 11, 12 years of aging. We are now in the vineyard of Aviz. So we're in Grand Cru and Premier Cru Chardonnay country, which is some of the most beautiful Chardonnay parcels in the whole of the Champagne region. So very different to the Pinot Noir dominant and Pinot Meunier dominant regions of Pouillon. And we have one of the preferred rosés in our portfolio. We have the Frerejean Frères Rosé, the Blossom Rosé. This is a stunner. I was chatting to Megan, our COO, about this wine this week. It's one of her personal favourites. We lead with Chardonnay, so different wine altogether with Pouillon. We've got 60% Chardonnay, we've got 40% Pinot Noir, and we've got somewhere between 12 and 14% of a red wine addition. So Didier Pearson, who's the winemaker, will take the red wine out of the vineyard, crush it, turn it into a light Gamay style of red wine, and then blend it into the mix. But for a rosé champagne, this is quite unusual because you've got long aging. You've got almost 5 years of aging in the bottle, and you can see that in the colour. You don't have that fresh, bright red colour. You start to get more of a copper colour on the wine when you get a prolonged aging, and that also changes the aromatic complexity of the wine. Now, Chardonnay in her younger years is more mineral, citrus and saline. You can see in this wine already that Chardonnay is starting to show secondary aromas of cream brioche, a custard tart with a red berry layer on this fantastic champagne. That's the best way to just define the aromatic properties and complexity. You've got a creaminess, a richness, but a red tart finish. It is a beautiful, savoury champagne style. The guys have a very different philosophy to the Pouillon family. One of our favourite producers to visit when we head to the Champagne region. They have a lovely little vineyard in Aviz. It's nice to get down into the grapes and look at that beautiful aspect in the Côte de Blanc that has such a hilly terrain. We very much like the winemaker. We very much like the boys behind the house. They're progressive, and I think they've got everything that a traditional champagne house has. They've got this element of heritage and tradition, but also this modernity to the way they make the wines. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what else the gentlemen do. They're also working on the French Bloom project, of course, which is a non-alcoholic sparkling wine, and they're winning lots of awards with that. But I think that there's some new things to come for the Frerejean Frères family, so take note of that. New shipment has just arrived, and we'll be coming around the country with some Frerejean Frères events very, very soon. So this month we're bringing you two of our favourite producers to visit on our insider tours to Champagne. If you haven't already joined us in Champagne, then please let us know. A couple of spots left for 2024. We know it's approaching, but if you've got flexibility, come and join us. Otherwise, we're about to open sales for 2025, which is exciting. We love seeing the Pouillon Maison. We love seeing the family from Frerejean Frères. Rodolphe is such a character, so charming. Two sensational champagnes with two very different characters this month. We've got the very very new Grand Valley. You'll be the first to see it in Australia with the method Fabrice Pouillon, which is quite unusual, where he's adding unfermented grape juice in the secondary stage to trigger fermentation. Never seen that before in my life. A really oxidative, nutty, rich style of non-vintage cuvee. And then we've got the beautiful Rosé from Frerejean Frères, and to the other extreme, it's a long élevage. It's a late disgorged rosé champagne that's been aged for a significant period of time. Very savory, very rich, very creamy, beautiful butter and brioche notes on red tart. We hope you enjoyed the wines for this month. Please let us know if you enjoyed the wine. Send us an email. Obviously, we've got our community chat, and hopefully we'll see you at an event very soon. I will be whipping around the country: Brisbane, Canberra, Perth, Melbourne, Sydney. I'm sorry to the rest of the states, but we will be as far as we can, and then we'll see the rest of you on the flip side from Paris this year. Stay in touch.